Now, if you're buying a home in 2025 and haven't seriously compared the differences between buying a new build home versus buying resale, you might be setting yourself up for a major regret. I mean, from builder delays to hidden costs to bidding wars on existing homes, what used to be a simple decision is now more complicated than ever, I think. And one route might cost you way more in the long run. Now, in this video, I'm going to break down some of the hidden pros and cons of both buying a new construction home versus buying a resale home, aka one that is not a new construction home. And I'm going to reveal which one is actually smarter for this year based on today's Charlotte and Fort Mill market data. Now, if you're planning to buy, sell, or invest or relocate to Charlotte or the Fort Mill, South Carolina area, or anywhere within an hour or two of Charlotte, I want to go ahead and let you know that I help people just like you every single week buy, sell, and invest and relocate to my market and area here. And I would love it if you were the next person to give me a call and say, hey, James, I need help buying this home in this area, but I know nothing about what it's like to buy a home in the Carolinas and I need some help. So go ahead and reach out. My phone number is on the screen. There's other forms of contact info in the description below. And I'd love to help you wherever you're at on your real estate journey, whether you're renting, thinking about buying, maybe you're here and you just need to sell a home from a good agent that knows the market and area. Whatever it might be, reach out. I'd love to connect. Well, let's go and get started. So there are some pros and cons of both buying new and buying a resale home, right? And first, I want to go and talk about the pros of buying a new build home. And new build homes, I would say first, are becoming so popular these days that a lot of people are just buying new without actually understanding why they're buying new. They just think it's the best thing to do based on, whatever types of things they've believed or seen or understood. Maybe their friends are doing it, their family are doing it. So I hope you watch this because this is going to actually give you an idea of why so many people are buying new construction this year and probably increasing in coming years, right? Okay, let's go ahead and go over some pros of buying new. The first one is obvious, and that is that everything is brand new. You're not going to need to come in and repair something or update something to your liking unless, let's say, you buy something new and the builder couldn't customize the kitchen to your liking, and maybe it was a quick sale and you couldn't actually build it from the ground up and kind of customize what you liked. You might have to, replace something like faucet or kitchen handle or whatever. But that's super personal preference. That's not like you have to do that. Now, another thing that is amazing about new builds is that you get builder warranties. This gives you peace of mind for years. I'm talking a 1-year everything warranty on everything. I mean, it pretty much covers everything. A 2-year, interior warranty that covers electrical, plumbing, everything inside the walls, right? And you have a 10-year structural warranty usually, and that covers anything with the foundation that goes wrong, anything with major cracking or concerns with that, which is huge. A lot of people don't even live in somewhere for 10 years. So you have a lot of these warranties that stay with you through the life of, you owning this home, right? So it's an amazing deal overall. Another amazing thing about new construction is that there's so much more design control when it comes to just owning a home, because when you are buying a home, unless it's like a quick move in and it's already built and ready, then you're gonna have a lot of customization options. Like you can decide the floors, you can decide the cabinets, the bathroom structures, just everything. It's really cool. You have a lot of incentives from builders as well when you're buying, like great buy downs, you have closing costs help, and a lot of lenders that work directly with these builders actually really want to help you get into the home. So they are usually willing to offer a lot of buy down in terms of the interest rate. So let's say you get a 3-2 buy down and you can actually drop that interest rate by 2% for 3 years or something like that. And that is like tens of thousands of dollars potentially saved. And a lot of them do something for longer. Like I know Pulte is doing a super amazing deal right now where I'm trying to remember what it is. Reach out if you want to know more. It's like an amazing rate special they're offering through the lender. It's like, I think for like 7 years, they're doing like a reduced rate or something if you buy in certain communities. So reach out. I need to talk to my Pulte rep to remember what that one was off the top of my head, but it's an amazing deal right now. And there's a lot of builder lenders that are doing these things. So those are some of the main advantages and pros of doing that. I mean, I've had clients buy new construction and they just love the freedom of having a blank slate and, kind of building the structure and the skeleton of the design, and then just having this, structure to just build and design their dream home within it. Where if it's a resale home, you're gonna have to do that yourself, right? Yeah, the builder's not gonna do it for you. And yeah, So those are some of the pros of buying new. Some of the pros of buying not new or a resale home. A lot of times you can buy in a much better location, and of course better location can vary person to person, but when I say that I mean mature neighborhoods, homes that have been in an area for a while, they're established, have mature trees with shade, have a blissful kind of growing landscape. They're not brand new, everything's not trying to grow for 10 years before it's mature and ripe. So that's kind of a pro for a lot of people buying resale. Another thing is that for the most part, unless you're buying like a quick move-in new construction home, which is possible, you can move in faster to a resale home, obviously, because if you're buying a lot and asking the builder to build on that lot, that's going to take anywhere from 3 to 6 months to longer, depending on what stage of the building they are in. So that can be a bit. Oftentimes with resale homes, you do have more yard space, you have a lot more character, maybe a larger lot with better community, more established community events and stuff like that. And in terms of resale homes, you don't have any of those new construction surprises, like let's say the builder decides to wait a while, there's a delay, whatever, we'll talk about it in a minute. Then you don't have that with a resale, because you have what you have. It's the home you're moving into, and it is what it is. It's not going to change just based on what somebody builds or does or breaks. A lot of the time I've seen that. So yeah, that's something. It's kind of peace of mind knowing that what you're seeing when you first tour is what you're getting. But new construction homes are nice because usually the builders let you walk through and see every stage of the process, which is cool. Now, in terms of resale, you do usually have more negotiation power on the price as well. You have inspection credits usually, so you do have more flexibility to work with a specific seller in person than you do a builder, because they've got to meet deadlines and price things and all that stuff. So they usually are a bit more stringent on, new construction builders are a bit more stringent on their price and what they have to get. So you can't really negotiate too much. So other than that, those are some pros of buying resale. Let's talk about some cons of buying a new construction home. So this I kind of touched on, but new construction delays are super common these days, especially with the demand of new construction homes in Charlotte, for example, here. And I mean, weather can be a huge factor. I mean, if you have a hurricane come through and you're in a coastal area and you're waiting on your home to be built, that's going to be a major delay, especially if you get lots of rain. It's kind of dry. If you have kind of are building during the rainy season, oh man, you're going to wait a bit. Sometimes you're going to have delays. Sometimes permits take longer to get. Sometimes there's material shortages, like in 2020, 2021, we had major delays because of those. So just be aware of that. It's not always the case, and now it's a bit more chill than it was 4 or 5 years ago in terms of those things, but you still can have a lot of delays, and they do happen quite frequently. Now, another con of buying new is that pricing is kind of unpredictable with upgrades, lot premiums, etc. I mean, a lot of times you see a price on Zillow, hey, this new construction home, this community is this much money. But then you actually dig in and you realize, oh my gosh, I have to pay a $15,000, $20,000 lot premium. That's like the ground rebuild. I got to pay for probably $100,000 worth of upgrades to just make this a decent looking home with a decent design, right? So those are things to consider. You're going to often pay for things that resale homes include, like blinds, appliances, and landscaping, because not all builders offer these. I will say though, just as a little hint and a little bonus, is that if you have a good agent, they know how to negotiate things into the deal with the builder, even if they're not willing to budge on price. Like most of the time, a builder will throw in blinds, they'll throw in a washer and dryer. They usually will already include appliances as a part of it, but 90% of the time, let's say, they'll throw in blinds and a washer and dryer without much pushback. And a lot of times you can get even more than that. You can get a better closing costs, closing to help with more rate buydowns, or your just general turning closing costs, right? Now, another thing with new builds is that HOAs can be pretty strict. Obviously, they often have high fees depending on how many amenities you have in a community. One thing I really do love about Pulte Homes, and I'm not like a specific rep or anything for Pulte Homes, I just like a lot of the things they do, is that they actually only have they have a really reasonable HOA fee for the most part in most of their communities. And with that, you usually get like a pool, a clubhouse, you might even get a tennis court, you have walking trails. You also have cable and internet included in that HOA fee. Usually it's like around $100, which is amazing. I mean, just internet and cable are like over that by a lot. So that's super amazing. In a lot of these build communities, they do have incentives, even though the HOA fees may seem high and strict. They oftentimes throw in things that make them worth it. Another thing is that the timeline can be stressful with a new build. You're waiting for your home to be built, especially if you're also selling a home at the same time. And with delays and extra fees and stuff added into that, it can be a bit stressful sometimes. Whereas with a resale, it can be pretty straightforward for the most part, not always. Okay, so other than that, if you're still not sure which route you want to take or that makes sense for you, in just a minute, I'm going to show you a side-by-side comparison of, what it would look like if someone bought a new build home versus a resale home, and we're going to have them have the same budget, but see the difference in results based on which one they buy. And it's going to be pretty similar. All right, now let's go and move on though and talk about some of the cons of buying resale. So one thing is that you have a lot of inspection risks, obviously, because this isn't a brand new home. So the roof, the HVAC, the plumbing may be older, the electric, and you're gonna have to do an inspection and make sure all this is tip top. And if it's not, the seller may or may not be willing to repair these things and look into them and address them, right? And you might be stuck with them, and you might have to do them yourself for the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, depending on how serious they are. Now, another thing in resale situation is that there can be multiple offers, especially for homes under 500,000. So be aware of that, especially in like 2020, 2021. There are tons of multiple offer situations, whereas in new builds, if you're locked in, you're locked in. They're not going to like drive up the price with 15 offers because there's such a high demand, right? The price that they're offering is the price it is. And, once you make an offer and it's accepted, boom, you're in. So that's cool. The other thing about resale homes is that, or not the cool thing, the bummer about resale homes is that cosmetic updates can be costly if it isn't your taste or style. I mean, cosmetic updates are not cheap, folks. If you've ever done any type of remodeling or updating your home, it's not cheap to, replace the floors and repaint and redo your cabinets. I mean, we're talking tens of thousands of dollars at least, and could be upwards of 100,000 if you do a full remodel on a, high value home. So just be aware of that. In repairs, you have unexpected expenses, and in terms of new construction, you have a builder warranty, so you don't have to worry about that as much. And usually with resale homes, you have a less flexible timeline than new builds because the seller has to sell and you have to buy, and you don't have to wait for it to be built. So it's kind of like stringent. All right, folks, so those are some pros and cons of new builds versus resale. Now let's talk about some of the main neighborhood differences between these two places. Some of these are obvious, some of them not so much. So obviously in new build communities, you're probably gonna have a pool, a clubhouse, dog parks, a lot of walkability, depending on the neighborhood. Where in resale areas, most of the time, it's a non-HOA area. Of course, you can buy in an older new build community. It was new build back 10, 15 years ago. And they might have a lot of those amenities and HOA fees, but it's not gonna be as new. It's not gonna be as nice. It's not gonna be, maybe as in trendy style as it would be in a brand new one. So just be aware of that. There is less of a cookie cutter feel in resale areas. You have more of an established community vibe, maybe an HOA that's super present and involved. Maybe if they throw events and stuff. Whereas if, you're kind of in a new construction community, you might have to be the ones that build that and start stuff like that. So if you're into that, then that might be a cool opportunity for you. But if you're not, it does make it a bit tough to get connected and, start something that isn't built yet. Now, if you do want to know some of the coolest new construction communities in places like Fort Mill, South Carolina, and Charlotte, North Carolina, and some of these surrounding areas, let me know. My partner and I, basically, he has an investment group, and they buy almost 50 to 60 homes every single year from these new construction builders. So we have a really tight-knit idea of some of the most up-and-coming and highly appreciated communities in the greater Charlotte metro. Let us know if you have questions. I want to know some of those specific ones and what some of the greatest builders are in the greater Charlotte metro. Now, let's go ahead and talk about finances and incentives. So builders, of course, often offer rate buydowns, some under 5% in 2025. There's also a lot of closing cost assistance, as I mentioned. Sometimes that's up to 10 to 20K, depending on what community you're in, what builder you're buying from. And resale sellers may cover closing costs or negotiate or do repairs if you ask them, if you request that in the contractual agreement. So there's a lot of options in terms of buying and financing. Now I want to go and jump into a real life example of building versus buying resale. So let's just say that you have a $550,000 budget. Well, a new build in Waxhaw, for example, you might have a 6-month delay. You might have an extra $20,000 in upgrades, but total peace of mind, knowing that you don't have to worry about repairing anything or changing anything once you move in, because your home is what you want it to be. Now let's talk about a resale in Fort Mill, for example. It's a bit different. It's move-in ready in 30 days. You got $7,000 in closing costs covered. And in the end, the resale buyer moved quicker and you got done quicker, but the builder's buyer paid more, but you love the customization of it because you were able to do that because they're building it from the ground up. All right, so folks, whether you are leaning toward building or buying resale, I think the smartest move out of all this is to get guidance from someone who knows the market and can walk you through the details before you make an offer. So that's why I help people like you every single week navigate this market, navigate the different buying scenarios of owning a home here in the Carolinas. And I'm going to help you make informed decisions based on what's best for your timeline, budget, and future goals. So go ahead and call or text me at the number on the screen right there. And in the description below, there's also some other forms of contact info, like you can schedule a private Zoom consultation with me about buying or selling. And we can go ahead and just figure it out together and decide what's best for you based on what you need and what you want as a family. And I do understand how overwhelming it can feel choosing between two big options, but you don't have to figure it out alone. We're talking timelines, incentives, HOA costs, and long-term value here. Every choice does have trade-offs. And hey, whether it's a brand new kitchen or a fixer-upper with a dream backyard, let's make this hunt exciting. And if you enjoyed this video, please do not forget to like this video. There's a thumbs up button at the bottom right, and subscribe to our channel for more info and information and content about what it's like living here in the Carolinas, what it's like to buy, sell, or invest here in the Carolinas. And we talk about money, finance. We do day trips here. We talk about just everything about the greater Charlotte metro, what it's like to buy a home, and general real estate knowledge as well. And other than that, I hope you have a blessed day. Thank you so much for watching. Look forward to seeing you in the next video and showing you around town very soon.